Valarqvin is a 5-star Ritualist supporter. She released as an integrated strategies unlockable operator with IS-4 Expeditioner's Yok Lamarkar, which also coincided with the woe-cleansing Hurricane banner that contained Santala and Typhon. Since they weren't released when I did the informational video on Arknights, Ritualist supporters can inflict elemental damage on enemies, similar to how enemies can do the same to operators. Valarqvin, real name Arjez, has no combat experience whatsoever. She is currently the tallest female operator in Arknights, standing at 188 centimeters tall, 4 centimeters taller than the previous tallest, Hoshiguma, and was born in Sami with no exact date of birth given. The lack of notable combat experience and date of birth is likely due to Cyclops' not keeping physical records. Valarqvin is of the Sarkaz race, specifically a aforementioned Cyclops. In our archive files and promotion record, it's noted that Valarq's tribe, the Cyclopses, have always been shrouded in mystery. Outside of memories passed down, the last written record of Cyclopses residing in a nation of Terra is 110 years old, disappearing from the public eye afterwards. Though Rhodes was aware of the Cyclops prophecy that a firestorm would engulf Londinium, none were present during the conflict. This led to Valarq reaching out to Rhodes to work together. After joining, the legends of Cyclopses have proven true. They see the future. But the visions of the future that they do see are often arbitrary, fleeting, fragments, chaotic, and illogical, with most Cyclopses spending their entire lives just to understand these visions. Valarq's purpose at Rhodes is clear: to fight the threat that endangers Sami. Rhodes interviewed Valarq due to her behavior not being the typical reclusive Cyclops that you'd expect. Valarq retold stories of her interactions with outsiders, like working as a guide for Colombian scientific expeditions, trading info with Yan Tianxi to learn more about demons, and luring an Ursus army to the site of an attack. Not all is peaceful in Sami, however, as other tribes, such as the Elafia of Sami, dislike the Cyclopses and their interference. As a whole, the Cyclopses are a pessimistic race. They aren't born pessimistic, as almost every Cyclops has challenged the fate they foresaw to prevent a disaster, only to realize that their actions contributed to it. Because of that commonality, it has become a rule among Cyclopses to avoid interfering with anything outside, instead focusing on themselves. Valarq was different, willingly challenging fate again and again, such as saving a Sarkaz girl, who's most likely Typhon, who was contaminated by a demon. The girl managed to survive, but Valarq chose to not care for her like a parent, instead letting the girl go free to challenge her own fate. The northerly migration of the Cyclopses has been observed widely and also recorded, with very few of these records actually giving a possible reason for their migration. Kazdel was not to be built for them like other Sarkaz races, possibly causing them to shift their focus to the doom within the Sami ice fields. The Cyclops' code of silence towards outsiders and their doomsdays has lasted for thousands of years. Another possible reason was due to the last distinctly identified Lord of the Cyclops court, who was also a king of the Sarkaz, and was also assassinated long ago. Valarq is confirmed to be infected. She has a cell originum assimilation of 5% and a blood originum crystal density of 0.23 parts per liter. The notes in her medical file say that there are prominent crystals on the surface of her body, and that due to her life in the ice fields, her infection rate is high. In her character art drawn by Fivefall, Valarq wears a light gray collared shirt with large buttons and a pattern on the shoulders, underneath a black and white dress, the black on the right, white on the left, and black fur-trimmed coat with a white to blue gradient on the inside, earrings, a blue ribbon around her neck, black bracers, black thigh highs, black combat boots with zippers and laces, a large belt around her midriff, a satchel and book, and the words Keeper and Cyclops on her jacket. She holds her staff with both hands, the staff being made of wood with white flowers on it. but having a blue jewel that is plugged into the staff using wires. Her third eye has a similar design around it to her shirt. In her voice lines, voiced by Misuzu Togashi, who also voices Mai Minakami in Nichijou, Yukiteru Amano in Future Diary, Ichiroku in Upat, Origami Tobichi in Date Alive, and Mami Koda in Lost Judgment, Valarq often talks of the future and Sami.
ページが損なわれて中身が散逸し、同々者が血にまみれている。このような光景が目の前に広がっていても、あなたは筆を止めないのですか？わかりました。では、あなたの体毛の助けになりましょう。はあ、もう日暮れですか。ごめんなさい。勘違いさせてしまったようですが、私は眠っていたわけではなく、読書に集中しすぎていたのです。ですから、そこまで気を使って、静かに待っていただかなくてもよかったのですよ。明かりはお持ちですか？私が照らして差し上げましょう。御人とサーミ人が似ている。いいえ、御人は向こう方の内に身を潜めているだけです。御人の遠見とサーミ人の木線は、どちらも未来を除く術でありながら、相互に理解があるとは言えぬもの。私が受ける非難は些細なことです。措置種の結束を高める方へ、重きを置いてください。私がロドスでの暮らしに慣れないことを心配されているようですが、私にとって、措置種の鋼の洞窟は、御人の住処と大差ありません。あなたは、光を借りて壁面に影を映すことで、運命の道筋を知り、御人は、生まれた時から絡み合う暗闇を熟知している。ただそれだけです。ええ。私は、あなたの足元にあるサルカスの跡を熟知しています。ご心配なく、深く追求はしません。サイクロプスの視線は、とうにカズデルから逸れています。私は、北境の脅威に抗うため、措置種と同道しているだけ。これが、あなたの運命における、私の立ち位置です。本当にこの記録に興味が、お読みになっても構いませんが、運命の余地には使えません。予言は、定められた形をとってはならないものです。御人にとって、記録は許されぬもの。にもかかわらず、私が記したこの断片は、どうか、私の精一杯のあがきだと思ってください。いえ、違います。ティフォンの命を救ったのは、予言によるものではありません。一時の衝動に突き動かされた行いです。彼女は事のきっかけを知らず、自分の結末についても興味を持っていません。私も、英語を彼女が視界に入らない方が良いと思っています。運命が表現の谷間を削り出します。雪の一片一片がどこに落ちているのかについては、それが溶けていく様を見慣れた者にとっては、そよぐ風ほどにも関心を引かぬことでしょう。どうかこのように、御人を認識してください。ただ、今あなたを熟知していて、多少の干渉は出てしまうかもしれません。すべては、私一人の選択です。実現されるべき予言のためであれば、私は一切の対価を惜しみません。 来るべきその日、あなたに恨まれるかもしれませんから、今お詫びすることをお許しください。あなたのお考えは、いえ、やめておきましょう。
At E2 level 80 with max trust and potential, Valarq has 1,347 HP, 477 attack, 101 defense, 15 resistance, a 60-second redeploy time, 12 DP cost, and has an attack speed of 1.6 seconds. She has the standard range of a D-cell binder supporter. At max trust, she gets plus 250 HP and plus 30 attack. At max pot, she gets minus 3 DP, minus 10 seconds to redeploy, and a buff to her second talent. Her first talent, the one who reveals at E2, when using Valarq and IS-4, her attacks deal an additional 30% attack as necrosis damage. Her second talent, the reclusive one, at E2 pot 4, Valarq gets plus 7% attack and plus 7 attack speed. Valarq has one base skill, which is upgraded at E2. Foresight is upgraded to Pilgrimage to the Future at E2, and when Valarq is assigned to the reception room, plus 10% clue search speed. When assigned with Typhon, an additional plus 15% clue search speed, for a total of plus 25%, is added, and increases the likelihood of finding clues not on the clue board, at the cost of plus 0.5 morale per hour consumed. Valarq's first skill, Before All I See Collapses, gains SP over time and is automatically triggered, starting with 0 SP at all levels. Level 7 needs 10 SP to proc, and M3 needs 7. At level 7, Valarq's next attack deals 100% of her attack as arts damage, and 50% of her attack as necrosis damage. This can store 2 charges. At M3, it's 130% attack as arts damage and 80% attack as necrosis damage. Her second skill, After All I See Has Withered, gains SP over time and is manually triggered, lasting 20 seconds at all levels and starting with 15 SP at level 7 to M3. Level 7 needs 34 SP to proc, and M3 needs 30. At level 7, Valarq gains plus 35 attack speed and hits an additional target, with each attack dealing an additional 25% of her attack as necrosis damage. At M3, it's plus 50 attack speed and 35% of attack as necrosis damage. Valarqvin's an interesting operator, as I believe she's the first, if not one of the first, operators who can do elemental damage to enemies, being a ritual supporter. Her talents either straight up buff her, as seen with her second talent, or increase her necrosis damage. Her S1 stores charges and is auto-proc, while her S2 buffs her attack speed and has her hit 2 enemies at once. That's not to mention that she is a, welfare operator, very easy to max pot, and I'm pretty sure you get all the materials you need to fully max out her skills and get her to E2 and level her up through doing the different missions for IS-4. But like other IS operators, she's going to be best used when in IS-4, meaning that she's at a disadvantage when she's in any other situation. Her S2 has her attack enemies already affected by necrosis, meaning that other enemies won't get that damage, and her S1 takes at least 3 charges to get the necrosis effect going. That's not all to mention that Virtuosa exists and is significantly better at being a ritual supporter. Hell, one of her talents is literally passively doing the elemental damage. Low priority to build. Thank you for watching. Please follow my Twitter and Blue Sky for updates, and please check out my other Azure Lane and Girls Frontline videos as well. There will be a teaser out tomorrow for next week's character and story summaries.